Good morning, students. Today we are going to read a very important question in the topic of reforms of 1909 and 1919 in the subject of history O levels. This is very important question, so concentrate yourself. The question is, what were the Montague-Chelmsford reforms of 1919, and why were Congress and the Muslim League reluctant to accept it? So concentrate yourself. We have to read the reasons why were Muslim League and Indians were not and Congress were not accepting it. So the reasons are going to be read now. The British government had promised in 1909 that new set of the constitutional reforms will be enforced after 10 years. Therefore, Montague-Chelmsford reforms were enforced in 1919. The main recommendations were as follows. Bicameral system was introduced. It means that there would be two houses, upper house or council of the state with 60 members and lower house or central legislative assembly with 145 members. Center was responsible for defense, external affairs, currency and communications, etc. In provinces, the system of the diarchy was introduced, under which in the provinces there would be important or reserved subjects such as police, justice and revenue under councillors who were British members, and unimportant or transferred subjects such as education, health, public works, agriculture, etc. in the hands of the Indian ministers appointed by the governors. Separate electorate was allowed for Muslims and Sikhs. The Executive Council of the Viceroy would have 2 or 3 Indian members. The Viceroy or the Governor could overrule the central or provincial legislative assembly. A commission would be appointed after 10 years to review the working of these reforms, and more reforms would be granted. 6 million voters were allowed to vote. Muslim League was not happy with the reforms because the ideal of the self-government was absent in these reforms. All powers were in the hands of the British. The Viceroy and the governors could overrule the assemblies because they had vast powers. There were several reasons for Congress opposition and rejection of the Morley-Minto reforms 1909. The reasons for the Congress were: according to these reforms, separate electorate was granted for Muslims, which the Congress did not like. The Congress claimed that it represented all Indian people and that separate electorate was undemocratic. Some Hindus also resented the relative high position of the Muslims in the councils despite their much smaller numbers. Since the Congress demanded self-rule, it was not satisfied with the very limited powers given to Viceroy's Legislative Assembly. The legislature had no control over the executive. The legislature could only pass resolutions in the form of the recommendations, only which could be disallowed by the Viceroy or the governors. Also, the legislature could not pass any resolution on matters concerning army and foreign relations. The Indian members were least effective to bring any change in the policy of the executive. The method of the election was also criticized. Congress opposed the reforms because all powers were in the hands of the viceroy and governors, and there was no progress towards the achievement of the self-rule. So, this is the topic, this is the lecture for today. Very important topic, students. This frequently come in the paper. Read this lecture again and make your notes. Thank you so much.